right. Mr. Powell, you ready? Very good. Okay, this meeting of the Finance Committee of the City of Pataskala City Council will come to order pursuant to a public notice. Kathy, would you call a roll, please?
Barstow,
Present.
Powell,
Here.
Lee,
And I understand Mr. Lee's not going to be here. He's working. So does the Finance Department or the administration have a agenda for us this evening?
The agenda's on your desk.
I know. Do you, yeah.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Jamie to walk us through everything that we have on our agenda.
Great. Okay, thanks a lot.
Okay.
Mr. Nicholson, it's all yours.
First item is the 2018 budget schedule. And it's hard to believe we're already looking at 2018. Time flies. This schedule would start on June 16th with the capital planning templates being distributed, would end in mid-December with the budget being certified to the Budget Commission. I'm still shooting for pre-Thanksgiving, November 20th, adoption of the budget. Last year, as you recall, that was the first time we actually got it done in November, and it was great. It made December really nice, so we didn't have to worry about getting all the last-minute budget stuff done. So literally is the same schedule, just tweaked a day here or there depending on how the calendar fell. But if you guys had any suggestions, if you felt like some things needed to be earlier or later or whatever, we can modify this, but this is basically the same schedule.
Okay. Well, Kathy, do you have a copy of this?
no, I didn't.
Okay. I'll give you September 18th is the date suggested for the budget workshop. I doubt if there's anything scheduled that far in advance. So, okay. I want to do that, at 6 o'clock?
Yeah.
Is that
Why don't we
okay?
go ahead and schedule that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's get on the calendar for, say, 6 o'clock.
And that is
That's a special council meeting. That's
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
not just a finance committee.
Yep.
that's because the first meeting of the month is the 5th because of Labor Day. It becomes Tuesday the 5th, but Monday the 18th is the second meeting.
Forgot about Labor Day.
What's that?
I forgot about Labor Day. I will say that this seemed to work well last year for staff. We talked about this past Friday in our directors meeting with all the directors, and it is amenable to them, and no concerns by them meeting this deadline.
Yeah, that was my other question. Is the administration think that this is doable? It's pretty much the same. We were templating it, but is this going to be?
In fact, BJ and I got some really positive feedback. Nate's already starting to look through his CIP stuff for the proposal, and Alan's telling me, numerous times, he goes, I now understand what you were asking me for last year. It was too new. Now he has a better handle on the process, and I think everyone's a lot more comfortable with it. So I would not anticipate any issues at all.
Do we want to do this on a council meeting night? Does that make sense?
I'll defer to you guys. It's council's
For the
preference.
budget hearing, I say do it on an off council meeting night to dedicate discussion just to this.
Yeah.
I know when we try to do extra things on council night, we kind of run out of time. So I'd like to dedicate just to the budget.
So I'd say we move that from September 18th, either move it up 1 week to September 11th or down 1 week to September 25th. Because those are the off Mondays.
25th might be preferable only because we're doing consolidations and reviewing through September 15th, and then I've set aside the 18th to the 29th in theory for BJ and I to sit down with the department. So the 25th might work well.
Okay.
Say we call it for the 25th at 6.
Yeah, I'd say so. Sorry, Kathy, we move it off the council night. I needed my calendar out in front of me. Okay. Yeah, I think this is good. I think this gives us it gives us some flex time if we do have a problem, then we still have potentially 2 meetings in December to iron anything out. I think with the workshop, that's the purpose of the workshop, I think, is to get a rough draft and look at it, and then for the administration to get council's direction. So I think that'll.
And that's worked out well the last couple of years doing it that way.
I think it's especially helpful when the department heads are here. We can kind of go through the entire budget, sort of function by function. Police will discuss their budget, public service, utility, finance, administration. I think that's useful.
And I think it's important for the administration to know that we really expect that there will be a budget. If it's not the department head, it'll be somebody who has authority to offer insight at this meeting, because it really doesn't do any good if a department head doesn't doesn't show, or just submit something and then doesn't show up, because this is a give and take question and answer. So it's happened in the past. We just appreciate that in the future.
Absolutely.
Understood.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Powell? Kind of sorry.
No,
Walked all
you're
over
fine.
there.
You're fine.
Anything else on this? Are you? This may be new to you. I don't know.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah, we template this, so we do what we're doing what we call backwards planning. So we say we have to have this budget to the auditor by December 30th, I believe, or the last working day of December. And so we say, okay, that's the last day. So we go backwards from there. So we're not here on December 29th trying to pass a budget, which I witnessed in 2013 before I came on. So it's not good. And so this makes the directors are now starting to formulate what they're going to need, and then they start working through these plans, and then we'll have this workshop in September for all of council to look at, and then we'll have that document before the meeting, and then it's a lot of give and take and question and answer. We don't vote on anything, but I think the administration clearly sees where our priorities are.
So giving ourselves a hard deadline kind of prevents that last minute.
Absolutely.
rush against-
Well, if everyone knows what deadlines we're shooting for, we're all on the same page. There's no surprises. And the other thing is, I think we're going to talk about strategic planning. A lot of times, the departments are somewhat in a vacuum. They're proceeding down the path that they believe is the appropriate path to go. But a lot of times, we need to have conversation between you guys and us. Parks, streets. What are the priorities? How you want to fund them? So that kind of feedback in those meetings is good for us to take back. If we get a direction, as Todd indicated, get a direction that clearly we need to make some changes in the proposed budget, then we have time to go back and make those changes.
And what you'll hear, what you'll hear during the budget process several times is that if any council member wants to come in and sit down with Jamie and I, we are more than willing to do that. That's been beneficial in the past doing that. If there are specific questions you have, maybe some explanation about how things are funded, what different funds are. It's been very, I feel like we've really done a good job in cleaning up our budget process with the support of the Utilities Committee. Or not the Finance Committee, I'm sorry.
They've done a great job.
Finance Committee. And, so you'll hear that several times during this if you want to come in and sit down.
But it helps committees like the Utilities Committee, because that's a major budget line item, and they can start thinking about that. So no, it's I mean, Nate always has the need for some sort of valve or product spreader or tile or pump or something, and he knows is going to wear out. So it gets them thinking about, this is what I'm going to have to do. So it's really just a good planning tool. So okay, so any other issues with the calendar? Mr.
I'll
King?
just say tonight, maybe we go ahead and mention calling the Finance Committee for the 25th at 6.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be
During the, I don't know if you want to go ahead and mention it during all of council to go
yes,
ahead
I
and-
will.
Okay,
That we special. It's a special council meeting. Be the budget workshop. Be for not just Finance Committee. It'll be for everybody. So
Or special council, I'm sorry.
right. Okay. I don't know where the mayor went. Where'd he go?
He's hiding there.
Yeah. Okay. I don't see behind Mr. Hicken. Okay. So I know the mayor will get that taken care of. Absolutely. Right, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Anything else on the calendar, on the planning doc?
Thank you.
Okay. Great. So we'll. BJ, do you think that we need to have council formally adopt this, or you're just going to use this?
I'm okay. I mean, it's the same schedule as last time. If you guys are comfortable, we'll make the change with the date for the all special council meeting. I think we're good to go. I don't
Okay.
think we necessarily need to have
Okay. Great.
adoption of that.
No.
All right, Mr. Powell, anything else on the scheduling? Okay. Okay.
Next item? Mm-hmm. Next item is the annual RETA delinquent, tax delinquent process. There are two primary approaches. One is the letter mailing approach, which is where they send out delinquency notices, mail them out to all identified delinquent taxpayers, and saying basically, contact RETA, this is what we see. That's been pretty successful. The other approach is a little more severe. It's a administrative subpoena process We did that 2 years ago. Generally speaking, I think it adds some value to do it no more frequently than every 3 years. I think it does have some value for the people that just sort of ignore the letters. But I think if you do it too frequently, it kind of loses sort of the effect, if you will. So for at least this year, my recommendation would be to use the letter program.
Yeah, I remember when we used the subpoenas, it didn't go over very well.
Well, we certainly, if we went with subpoena again, we would do more advance notice, communication, letting the community know what they would be receiving, what it is, what the program is. You know, I think it is important, though, to notify those who are not filing that they're responsible for. I know just through this past tax season, we had some folks who hadn't filed in several years or had never filed,
And we at least
and we're
one
still unaware.
still unaware.
So I think it is necessary to contact these folks. It is money we're due and helps us carry out our services. But, you know, I agree with Jamie. I think doing the subpoena too frequently is not the right approach. I'd rather take the approach of sending letters and trying to get people to voluntarily file.
Have we done anything with bumping our database with the water sewer department's database and also contacting Southwest Licking to bump?
Not yet.
Okay.
It's on my to-do list.
I don't know. It's a bit of a project. I mean, for Southwest Licking, but I would encourage to get in touch with Mr. Fox as a rep over there and get. I think that can be done because that's a.
We can at least provide that database to Rita to
Rita,
compare. Where we run shy or where we might have some issues is you're gonna have a master meter in an apartment building, and so they would have
Right.
An investment company as the landlord. That we would miss those, but other than that, typical residences we would have all those people identified.
Yeah. Where I live,
nothing.
where I live, you're going to see our management company as the we have a master meter, and we pay one. We don't pay our individual bills. So yeah, there will be some like that, but I think it'll help try to bring more folks in.
At
Okay.
least if it identifies properties that aren't currently in their database, then that's worthwhile.
Right. Okay. Anybody else? Yeah. Okay. So we're going to just do letters.
Yeah.
Letter program this
Letter
year.
program.
Yep.
Okay. I think that's good. Okay.
Next item is strategic planning. One of the things that BJ and I have talked about is the thought that we approach a budget based on in essence what we think council's desires, wishes, plans are. GFOA, our professional organization, and I'm sure the ICMA probably is a similar thing of the value of strategic planning. Long term, where does council see the city in 1, 5, 10, 20 years? Where do you want to be? What are the priorities? Are addressing parks, we're addressing roads, infrastructure, all kinds of things in the community. Trying to have some overarching goals for the community by the selected board, so that we can tailor our initiatives, suggestions, processes, improvements to support those higher level strategic goals. So we've already broached it with the department heads that's going to be part of their process for each department is to come up with some strategic plans or more tactical for them in terms of what's their mission, what is their what are their core values for each department, trying to nail down kind of the thought process. So why are you suggesting, or why are we proposing doing a project, buying equipment, hiring staff? What's the reason for that? Well, it's to support these initiatives or these goals. I provided you a copy of the GFOA's best practice document, which provides some pretty good information, sort of a structure. I also then went out and hit a lot of the suburban communities. So I hit Gahanna, Bexley, Westerville, Newark, Licking County Library, Indian Hill, which is down by Cincinnati, kind of just to show you what they publish on their website as far as for the city, what's their vision, what are their goals, what are their values, and then the departments then support those. I put Marysville in there as well. Marysville is most likely a very mature process, obviously. They've been doing this for a number of years, because it's a very comprehensive one. It really ties back departmental goals to council objectives and goals and long-term plans, so that everything's, pulling the same way. Couple different ways you can approach this. One is, we work with you, BJ and I work with the board and the department heads to help sort of, get it all kind of together. Another approach is a lot of communities hire a consultant, and that's what they do. They interview, you guys, they interview the department heads, they may interview, interested parties out in the community to kind of figure out, where does everybody want this ship to go over the next 2, 5, 10, 20 years. So the thought process is, this is going to be a growth process. This first year will be, might be baby steps, but every year we'll continue, just like the calendar, we'll continue to enhance it and develop it more fully.
I think it's a good idea to have some sort of planning document. We do have one related mostly to zoning and a master plan. That really deals more with
Like land use.
land use.
Yeah.
It's good for what it is, but it's limited. This is much more comprehensive. And Marysville obviously they've been doing this for quite a while.
Much more sophisticated.
And Marysville's a very nice town. I've been up there a few times. It's a very nice city.
And this will also help guide the budget process. As we start looking at this, you can tie back CIP projects to the strategic plan, looking at what the priorities are for not only the departments, but for council, and looking at goals and what we want to achieve. So I think it all goes hand in hand, and it will be certainly a worthwhile project. As Jamie said, we talked about this in our directors meeting this past week, and it was well received, and I think people are excited to proceed with something like this.
Well, I'd be interested to hear what the plan is for the plan, so to speak. What your thoughts are, how you want to do it. I think it's a good idea to have it, and then maybe we can discuss that at council, maybe put it on the agenda for full council discussion. Okay. Anybody?
But I wanted to get it before you guys, just so you could know that's something that we're in favor of.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good idea.
Because Marysville is obviously much more in depth. Is it just because they've been doing it for a while, or is it, I don't know? Because some of these other ones just seem like,
Well, some of them,
like nice mission statements that you.
Well, if I can, real quick,
ahead.
what I see this being a multi-year process. I think starting out is establishing mission statements, values, goals. For the departments to identify goals, share those goals with council, see if council's goals align with what the department goals are, and if they don't, or if they do, trying to get those goals together to see what we can do.
So we
Mary,
would start very
very
basic,
high level,
or
very basic.
simplistic.
very
high
very
level.
simple, and then
You
grow down from there.
Correct.
Yeah.
Typically, when you're looking at like key goals, you don't want to have like 20 key goals.
Right.
They're much more summary. They're much more, community life enhancements through, improved parks. And that's all it says.
Right.
And then you figure out what that means underneath. That means we put in trails, or we add parkland, or we improve the parkland, or whatever it is we do.
So it's kind of like to start out as like Indian Hill and end up like Marysville.
Exactly.
That kind of is the longer term
Right.
picture.
I
it's
think
great.
something else that might drive it too is Marysville's a little bit like us in that they're different, but they're the county seat of Union County. They have some stable industries there. They have Scotts Lawn. They have the Honda plant, obviously, which is not in the city, but it's nearby. They have the Ohio Reformatory for Women is up there. So they have some but they're a city that can grow and expand because of where they're physically located. Some of these other, Bexley is landlocked. Indian Hill is landlocked. So they're not, their populations and services are going to be fixed. It's not going to get any bigger. So that's maybe why Marysville decided to really do this very comprehensive plan. So that's good. Anybody else on planning? No? We're good? Okay. Police
Okay,
station.
so BJ and I will sit down and kind of come up with a plan to bring to council as far as
Proceed with it.
initial preliminary planning process.
Very good.
Cool.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
Final thing was, final thing I have is the police station project funding update. I have heard through our advisor that PNC has been given from above approval to extend the note. I haven't officially gotten the piece of paper, but I've been told that it has been, that we will enter in terms to extend it. So beauty of that is then we don't have to rush to do either a two tranche bond, one to cover the $500,000 note and then one for the remainder. We can wait until around July 1st when we'll have a better handle on what the total issuance cost needs to be. So we'll add, the 500,000 plus the bid price, or whatever we come in with the project plus the cost of issuance, and that's how much we need. So the beauty of that is it's one issuance and eliminates any risk of over or under issuance. Obviously, if we have change orders and things change, well, that's outside our control. But at least as far as the contract bid, that'll be a fixed amount, and we'll know how much we need to issue the bonds for. So that worked out very, very well. We were a little concerned because of timing. Originally, we were thinking this would be a little more in the front part of the year, so we issued a 9-month note. Well, in retrospect, we probably should have done the year, but live and learn.
It's a great outcome for it. Certainly, we can secure, like Jamie said, the $500,000. And just a side note, I do anticipate coming to council on May 15th seeking authorization to go out to bid and advertise for the police station construction.
My only thought would be this is probably certainly one of the largest projects the city's ever undertaken, and we're doing it all with our own money. That is, it's a completely city of Pataskala taxpayer funded item. So my only advice would be to make sure that you grab it firmly by the throat and don't let it go. We keep a real watchful eye on this. Yeah, I'm not saying you won't, but that'd be my observation.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else on police station?
And that's all I had.
Does anybody have anything else to bring? Anybody else have anything that comes up, Mr. Mayor? No? Oh, Mr. King?
I just have one other thing. I think it was last month I sent an email out in response to the document that Jamie sent out, his year-to-date financial report. I encourage folks to spend some time looking at that. It tells a great story about where we are, and and I shared that with Jamie. It emphasizes everything we've been talking about. Our income tax collections are healthy. Our street fund is healthy. Our police fund is healthy. Our utilities funds are not healthy, and that's something we're going to have to look at. So it tells a great story and is a good snapshot financially of where we are. As I said in that, I do give kudos to the staff for being very fiscally conservative, being good stewards of the taxpayers' money, but also council through the budget process, taking a look at what we have, what our funds are, and what we can accomplish. And I tied that back to what our RAMP program is this year. We're healthy, and each year we're able to put more money towards our roads, towards our drainage, towards our whatever. So I feel like we're really on the upswing, and we're in a good position. So as Jamie sends those out, spend some time with them. It tells a great story.
I echo that. I do appreciate that. Obviously, I read those because I'm interested in that. But to me, the most important thing that we do as council is management of the city's finances. And so we have to have good information. So if a fund isn't healthy, you just have to tell us it's not healthy, and so we know what to do to fix it. Because that's the bulk of what we do is managing the funds of the city, putting them in the right place. And we have to know what the right place is because we're not here day to day. So I do appreciate it. It's good. I would again encourage all council members to sit down and go through that. The quarterly report, especially, that kind of gives us what, because that gives us more than just a month. Sometimes the month can be a little, as Jamie will acknowledge, sometimes the month can be a little bit off depending on the time of the year. But the quarterlies are really good, and then obviously the annual one that comes out. Okay, thanks. Anything else? Mr. Powell, anybody? Mr. Mayor, anything for us? No? Okay. All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Kathy, would you call the roll, please?
Barstow?
Yes.
Powell?
Yes.
Great, we're adjourned.
I know. I thought we would need more time.
So,
We're safe and sorry.
Right, yeah, good point.